Hi everybody, it's Tatiana and this is The Crow Special Edition by James O'Barr. If you're not familiar with The Crow series, movie, universe, go get your life. That's the best that I can say. I read this during the Getting Graphic Readathon, and this was the last thing that I read before I went to bed. Probably not the wisest thing to do. So I first saw the movie The Crow. I want to say that came out in like 1994. I don't have my phone. I am not even going to say how old I was then. However, I will say that it was a concern for some people that I snuck into the movies to see The Crow and fell in fucking love with it. Totally obsessed with Brandon Lee. The story behind what happened to him at the end, when they were filming at the end, because if you don't know, they filmed the opening scene of the film after they had finished wrapping all of the other scenes. Eric Draven was shot by one of the characters. The character's name is Eric Draven, that was played by Brandon Lee. And there was supposed to be blanks in the gun. However, there was a piece of shrapnel or debris that was stuck in the chamber, and when the gun was discharged, that debris pierced Brandon Lee's heart, and he died. In the movie, he falls out of a window and, falls to the ground when he is shot. That's what happened in the portrayal of the movie, but the entire time that they were filming that scene, and it took a while for them to film the portion of that scene, Brandon Lee was dying on the concrete, and they didn't know. They all thought that, damn, he's really playing the hell out of this role, but he was dead. So yeah, when I found that out, it kind of like screwed me up just a little bit, and every time I watch it, I think about that, and yeah. So anyway, I can't hold this up because my wrist hurts. Ultimate revenge story. It is extremely graphic. It is very grungy. The darkness of atmospheric. That's the word. It's the darkness of not just Eric Draven's unrested spirit, but the city itself comes through so well. The depravity of the characters, the area. Oh, it's awesome. I really, 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 really love that movie. So I didn't know as a kid that it was developed from an actual comic that the writer of the film, James O'Barr, created. And I did not find that out until maybe 6 years ago. That's literally how long, because it wasn't something that I necessarily researched. I was happy with the movie. So when I found out that it was a comic, I wanted to get it. I found this on Book Outlet. It was a scratch and dent. It's a tad bit damaged, but it is okay. I found the book starts, and I read every single word in this book, from the beginning notes to the end notes, every single word. I did not want to miss a single thing. I did not know that the comic of The Crow was really James O'Barr working through the death of his girlfriend during that time frame, and knowing that, having that information just made it, reading it, so much more impactful, and having an understanding, not necessarily that you understand how he feels, but you understand where he's coming from, where the guilt that is present in the movie as well as in the comic comes through. It just gave me a whole nother understanding and a whole nother way to look at the things that took place in the movie, the psychological wrongness of Eric Draven as The Crow, that also comes across in the comic. Shelley dies in a completely different way in the comic than she does in the movie. If I had read this at the age when I saw the movie, I would have probably been terrified and terrorized, because having it in this format, and everything, like there's a part, there's this little thing that he has at the beginning that says, you know, this is not computer generated. Every single, it's really like a dig. It's a true fucking dig. He says, on the inner sleeve credits of the first 4 or 5 Queen albums, the band proudly proclaimed, no synthesizers were used during the recording of this LP. I'd like to borrow that statement. No computers were used in the making of this book. Everything in here is ink on paper. Even the lettering is hand done on the original art. The gray tones are the now obsolete techniques of duo shade board and zipatone. The new pages were completed in the same manner, using 20-year-old leftover supplies from the original book. Jack White once said, technology destroys art, and I agree. You're not learning your craft when a computer does it for you. Holy shit on a stick. Like, I was like, oh, James, wait. But the artwork in the original comic, and then, like, you can tell the changes. This is the artwork in the original comic that was done 20 years before this special edition was done. And then this is, I'm trying to find a not so graphic as well as this. So you do see the development in and the changes in his work as an artist from the original comic that was done to the special edition. I don't really research and look into what is done on computer versus what is done versus in by hand. And it's truly an artwork. My gosh, it's truly an artwork. And that's what I'm discovering as I do more coloring and I watch more color artists and pencil artist videos on YouTube, how great of an art form that is. I've kind of lost my train of thought. So you have more of the back and forth between Draven's memories and present day, and he keeps just reliving the great moments and the hellish moments over and over again, and each time he relives a great moment, it ends in a horrible way, even if that's not the way that it truly ended, because it's all to signify the fact that he is so tormented by Shelley's no longer being there and Shelley being taken away from him, but he's not able to find this rest, and she's gone, she's gone on. He can't find her. So all of that is just so great. It's so freaking great. So it's broken into, I think, 5 books or issues within this special edition. You have pain, fear, irony, despair, and death. And each one is the continuing story as Draven is getting his revenge, but it's also him working through his own feelings and what's brought him to the point where he is this spirit of unrest who's so seeking revenge, can't be killed, but doesn't want it, but isn't living and really doesn't want to live. Yeah, I will probably be reading this again in the near future. I will probably read it more than once. I could literally read this once a year and still get something different from it each time, or get a deeper understanding of it. But what made the biggest impact on my reading was having the snippet about James O'Barr's own experience with grief and guilt and trying to move on. The pain and despair that is so evident in Brandon Lee's portrayal of Eric Draven. It's spot on. And there are other, like there's The Crow 2, and there's one where Kirsten Dunst is one of the characters in The Crow, in the movie. I think that's the 3rd one. Then there's the TV series with Mark Dacascos, which I really liked. The other movies, I think the 2nd movie was okay, but none of them top the 1st movie. None of them are as good as or better than the first movie. The Crow TV series comes in very, very close second, with the second movie beating it like just by a hair, and that probably more has something to do with the fact that when the series ended, the story was not complete. That's all that I'm going to say on that. This was a long ass video. I'm going to hate editing this. I'm going to go. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a good weekend whenever you see this video. Peace out. I was spot on. 1994.